from our 7 Tasmania studios. Your nightly news with Louise Hubar begins now.
Good evening, everyone. We begin with some developing news, and residents in Buckland, west of Triabunna, are heading into a nervous night with a bushfire raging nearby. Ruby Cairns joins us live now from the township. Good evening, Ruby. What's the latest?
Lou, the latest information that we have is that there's no immediate threat to the Buckland area, but that residents are being warned to monitor conditions tonight. With the blaze moving in a westerly direction, emergency services initiated a watch and act warning just after 2 o'clock this afternoon for the Sand River Road and Buckland Road area behind me. That was then upgraded to a prepare to leave just 30 minutes later before being downgraded. Authorities are now urging residents to check their bushfire plan and prepare homes. We have also been warned that conditions can change, so for residents around here tonight, it's advised that you monitor the Tas Alerts app to stay up to date. Lou.
All right, thanks for that, Ruby at Buckland. Concerns about the government's stance on its gambling harm policies has prompted a renewed push by the Greens for integrity reforms. The party is proposing tougher laws around political donations, which it hopes to pass before the end of the year.
With only a fortnight to go until the last sitting week of Parliament of the year, the government is eyeing off the finishing line, charging ahead to expand free Wi-Fi to 80 sites across the state.
I want our next generation of innovators, the kids we see here today, to have access to the technology they need when they're out and about.
But the Greens remain hot on the government's tail about integrity matters, proposing reforms to force all politicians and parties to come clean with Tasmanians about donations they receive above $1,000.
For too long, when they've gone to an election, they've been kept in the dark about the amount of money that's flowing from vested interests to major parties' coffers.
Claiming the state has the weakest disclosure laws in the country, and with concerns the Tasmania hospitality industry is pressuring the government to scale back its mandatory pre-commitment pokies card, the Upper House MP says tougher guidelines are a matter of urgency.
We're seeing the consequences of that even now as the gambling industry continues to influence unduly the Liberal government.
We have dealt with that in Parliament. There's been quite a lot of community discussion about that as well. If the Greens think they're going to bring a new bill forward, let's have a look at it.
Labor says it supports lowering the threshold of political donations and the real-time reporting of donations to parties and MPs. A recent parliamentary committee chaired by Rebecca White considered these changes, and while waiting for the detail of the Greens bill, Labor says it is willing to work with all sides of politics to bring in the changes. The government insists it's still committed to harm reduction with the pokies card and engagement with stakeholders. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
7 Tasmania News can exclusively reveal the Premier will announce major reforms for government businesses tomorrow. Jeremy Rockliff's suite of reforms will aim to tackle issues around performance, coordination and accountability with Tasmania's GBEs. It comes amid growing concerns about the way some state-owned companies have been operating following delays and budget blowouts with the Spirit of Tasmania project and Devonport berth upgrades. When you think tourist attraction, it's not often you think mushrooms, but one group of artists is hoping to change that. They're offering a unique visitor experience painting and photographing fungi that's currently being grown at one of Hobart's oldest heritage sites.
This 1800s railway tunnel found new life when it was transformed into a unique mushroom farm, now set to be the site of another artistic venture.
I'm a custodian of the old tunnel, so I really enjoy sharing it with people. And this is a great opportunity for me to sort of have more people experience the place and see the place.
A handful of Tasmanian creators getting together, aiming to be the state's newest tourism attraction. Mushrooms the muse for these artists and photographers.
Obviously the fungus is cool. It's a fascinating subject, but also the history, the detail of the tunnel itself. It has an artistic side to it.
The idea is for tours and workshops to guide visitors on how to capture the space through photos, videos and painting, all while sipping on a mushroom beer.
Yeah, it's earthy.
And of course, sample the product.
People get to come on the tour, they get to learn how to do their own grow bags and take home a grow bag to grow their own mushroom. They learn how to cook and harvest mushrooms.
The first session, which is a photography one, starts as early as next week, with groups of up to 20 people able to apply. But they are expected to fill up quickly, so it's advised you get in early.
People get an experience we can't offer anywhere else.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmanian News.
Local artisans have been run off their feet as thousands packed out day 2 of the Tasmanian Craft Fair. The event, the largest of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere, sending Deloraine Transform into the ultimate creative hub.
Homegrown creations on full display, giving crafty critters plenty to explore.
So much to look at, and there's so many lovely people, lots of different stall holders.
Fabulous, love all the local providers, and it's just fun just tasting and just hanging out with friends.
The mega market drawing in some of the country's most creative minds, from experienced hands returning to Deloraine yet again.
Since the beginning. I like to demonstrate an old craft so that people can see it's still alive and we get people interested.
To first-timers weaving their magic for their Tasmanian Craft Fair debut.
Such a huge collection of people sharing their passion for their craft, and that's certainly something that I want to do. Offer people the opportunity to see what's possible at the loom, to tap into their creativity.
The iconic event, a labour of love for organisers, stitching together something for everyone. Thousands lining up for a chance to catch a glimpse of all the action.
We did as many people yesterday as we did in 2 days last year, so it's gone nuts.
Overwhelmed with this year's turnout as art lovers come from far and wide.
I was speaking to people from New Zealand, from far north Queensland, from New South Wales, so there are people from all over the place, plus lots of locals.
Making the most of the ultimate fun fair.
Sampling the alcohol. It's the reason I make sure I don't drive out here.
All the crafty activities wrap up tomorrow. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmanian News.
Thousands have gone beyond the gates of the Anglesea Barracks in Hobart for a rare opportunity to check out a range of equipment, simulators and vehicles owned by our Defence Force. The day hoping to inspire more people to consider a career in the military.
It just gives you, anyone who wants to try the sim an idea of what flying a fast jet might be like, something like a Super Hornet, but just like the predecessor of it, right?
It's events like this that enable us to put the equipment out there into the eye of the general public to give them an understanding of what we have and what it's like to be part of the Defence Force.
There were 40 exhibitors on display across the day. Starting with the WBBL, and the Hurricanes are back in the win column after matching a red-hot heat in Melbourne. Grace Harris and Jemima Rodriguez teaming up for a combined 120 runs for Brisbane. But the Hurricanes responded with force. Danielle Wyatt-Hodge hitting 62. Lizelle Lee with 38 runs. They'll next face the Melbourne Stars tomorrow morning. The Jack Jumpers suffered a narrow 2-point loss to southeast Melbourne Phoenix in Launceston last night. That's despite leading by 7 points at half-time and being ahead by 12 points in the third quarter.
Ultimately, it comes down to lapses of not executing offensively. Our defence remains pretty sound.
There's no time to mull on the loss. They'll next face the Sydney Kings at Kudos Bank Arena tomorrow afternoon. Stay with us. Kaya Wicks will join us after the break with the weather forecast.
Good evening. A lovely 23 degrees in Hobart today, 19 in Launceston, Devonport 17 and Burnie 16. Across the state, Bushy Park also 23, 22 at Strawn, Grove 21, 20 at the top for Flinders Island and at Friendly Beaches, 18 recorded on King Island and also at Smithton, St Helens and Maria Island, 17 at Low Head and 12 the top for Lyoweni. Today we saw mostly clear skies at first, although high cloud passed over the state from the west this afternoon. A frontal cloud band extends over southern WA, SA and to the west of Tasmania. There is a strong cold front that will cross the island tomorrow morning. West to northwesterly winds reaching upward of 40 knots in the south, with westerly swells at 3 metres. So in saying that, we have a severe weather warning for many parts of the state, with gusts of up to 120 kilometres per hour across the island tomorrow morning. And also a gale warning for coastal waters between St Helens Point to Stanley and also the southwest lakes. There is a strong wind warning between Stanley to St Helens Point, the Derwent Estuary, Frederick Henry, Norfolk and Storm Bay, the Channel and the Central Plateau Lakes. 20 and partly cloudy in Hobart and Richmond tomorrow, a shower or two for Ooze with 19 there. Easing showers in Launceston 21, winds easing in Devonport 18 also for Deloraine with easing showers rather. Showers for Burnie and Curry 17, but winds picking up in Strawn, 15's the top. Partly cloudy in St Helens 22, much the same in Swansea 23, a windy day for Whitemark 20 degrees. Forecast now for Monday. Showers about the west to kick off the week, but fine elsewhere. Now we can expect an inland frost at first on Cup Day Tuesday. Showers will develop about the west, but sunny skies elsewhere. And on Wednesday, showers about the west extending throughout the afternoon and evening. A taste of summer though for Hobart and Swansea, nudging close to a lovely 30 degrees. To mainland conditions now, sweltering in Alice Springs tomorrow to 41, warm also in Sydney 32, possible showers in Brisbane 28, 30 degrees and becoming windy in Canberra. Cloudy across the state right now, Hobart 18 degrees, Launceston 15 and 14 in Devonport. Now with wild weather lashing the state tonight and tomorrow night, Lou, a reminder to motorists to please drive safely.
Very good advice. I'll second that. Thank you for that, Kaya. That's all your news for this Saturday evening. Thank you for joining us. We will be with you with all your news tomorrow. See you then. Good night.